The story is brought to us from WFSB.com. Now here's another one that's going to piss you off. This one's really going to make you mad here. Cops, they don't care. They don't care. Cost them nothing. Cost you everything. The family of a man paralyzed in New Haven police custody has hired a civil rights attorney, Ben Crump. Some people love Ben Crump. Some people are like, nah, I don't like Ben Crump. I like what Ben Crump does and what Ben Crump stands for. Yeah, Ben Crump sometimes can be a little biased towards the Caucasian persuasion, but I love what he's doing. He ain't taking no guff from these cops that are out there violating people. Crump has worked on some high-profile cases, include Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Crump and the family of Richard Cox spoke on the steps of New Haven Superior Court. Cox, known to family and friends as Randy, was partially paralyzed while being transported by the police following a gun arrest on Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, now you can never walk again.
Justice for Randy Cox.
Famed civil rights lawyer Benjamin Crump, who represented George Floyd's family, is now the face of the legal team for injured arrestee Richard Cox and his family.
They didn't use their training. They didn't use their professionalism. They didn't use the policies that they all supposed to know.
Cox was placed in a transport van, but while en route to the police lockup, the driver slammed on his brakes to avoid an accident. That's when Cox went flying, slamming his head into the back of the van, which did not have seat belts. Once at the detention center, officers pulled Cox out of the van by his feet, processed him in a wheelchair, and then dragged him into a holding cell. 5 officers are now on paid leave while the Connecticut State Police investigate their handling of the incident. They dragged him into a holding cell, not knowing he's injured. That happened to me too. Yes, I've been arrested. His name was Jason, I forget his last name, San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, Yucaipa PD. Circa 2010, 2009, something like that. It was while doing an audit, and the cop had me in the back of the car, and he slammed his brakes as hard as he could on purpose, and I smashed my head into the little plastic window. And then he had the nuts to say, "Sit back!" That's the police for you, guys.
Cox was paralyzed from the chest down on June 19th during an abrupt stop by Officer Oscar Diaz, who was the driver of the transport van that Cox was being taken to the police station in. No seatbelts were available, just hand straps. Despite Cox telling multiple officers that he could not move, they proceeded to drag him from the van by his feet and place him in a wheelchair.
Latoya Boomer, Cox's sister, said he has the breathing tubes in, feeding tubes in. He can't talk. He can kind of nod his head yes or no. He can move his left arm. That's about it.
I'm calling for the officers involved to be fired and arrested.
Randy Cox is lying in that hospital bed, paralyzed from his chest down because of the actions and the inactions of the New Haven Police Department, says Ben Crump. Now, Cox's legal team says they will be filing a lawsuit against the city within the next 60 days. His family, along with the NAACP, held a community forum. Dozens of people showed up to the Stetson Branch Library to discuss what the plan is moving forward. They want criminal accountability, civil justice, and policy changes.
Connecticut's NAACP leader called these actions part of New Haven Police Department's culture.
But I would say that the culture of the police department 24 years ago, all police departments, compared to today, is a lot better, but we still have work to do.
I don't think that we have a culture in the New Haven Police Department of police brutality. We've had incidents, and we have held those officers accountable.
He had the emergency surgery on the front of his neck, vertebrae 5 and 6, which is right here. The second surgery was 3 days later on vertebrae 2 through 7, the back of his neck, right here.
Now, according to his sister, Latoya Boomer, she said you can see his head bobbing around and just throwing him around. I guess she's talking about the camera footage. She said they were dragging him around saying, oh, well, if you wanted to get in the bed, you can get there. And he said, Cox, he can't move. So he told them, I can't move. If you want to get in the bed, it's over there. They were dragging him around. They didn't think to check him to see why he couldn't walk. He walked when he got in the van, right? So between point A and point B, something happened. You know you slammed on the brakes. They don't care. They don't care. New Haven Mayor Justin Elicker, the acting police chief, and the assistant police chief showed up and spoke at the forum. I know that's probably not how you pronounce his name. That's how I'm pronouncing the mayor's name. Justin Elicker. Spelled just like that. Acting Chief Carl Jacobson said, I want justice for Randy as well. We're going to work hard to make changes. I didn't watch the video once. I watched it 20 times to remind me what I have to do with this police department. And he might be upset. He's a human being. But time will tell if he's sincere or not. See, I'm going to take him at his word right now. But over time, we'll see if he's right. So time will always tell whether you're telling the truth or not. So it's better to just tell the truth, because it's going to come out. So if you really want to do something with this police department, we're going to see. New Haven will see. The family attorney says Cox was not a convicted felon. Now, Channel 3 reached out to the city to clarify, but they say they need more information from the state's attorney, because they're not going to give any. It's an ongoing investigation. We'll talk to you later. Click. And you think the police are there to protect you.